I've got quite the story to share with you all, and no, it's not of Trevor's vasectomy.
Whoa! Dude, I love gay people now!
No, we're a good guy. We're trying to save the kids. Look, we're saving you! Saving!
Okay, so I was born in... currently live in Mount...
Hello everyone, and welcome back to another episode of Hunter x Hunter Book Club. I'm here with none other than Kyle. Kyle, say hi.
Hello, everyone.
And we're back talking about Hunter x Hunter, this time with the Yorknew City arc. Or, if you read the Viz manga, the Phantom Trope arc. Which, it does have a different name with the Viz version, which is an interesting detail.
Really? That's weird.
Yes. So, Kyle, Yorknew. I liked it. Overall, before we get into too many details with it, my overall impression of the arc, so far, not counting the Zoldyck family as like a proper arc.
Yeah,
like just in terms of looking at Hunter Exam and then Heaven's Arena.
And then
this was my least favorite arc so far. And like, that's not saying much because I really enjoyed Hunter Exam and especially Heaven's Arena. But I felt overall maybe the arc, at least the manga, had pacing issues in a couple places. And then this is definitely part of just the translation I'm using, where the translations of names were confusing. Like whenever you mentioned the Shadow Beasts, well, I didn't know them as that. In my version, they were referenced as like an I name. I'm going to be trying to find a different version, but it made it harder to keep up. Like the Phantom Trope, they kept it as the Janae Ryodon.
Yeah,
like, I got used enough to them just calling them the Ryodon, but like,
and that's not the fault of the arc itself. That's more or less the translation. So that's something to keep in mind. Like if I watched it with the anime, and granted, like anime pacing, it's not as quick as the manga, but I think for the visuals, the voice acting.
Well, no, I'm saying the manga was a bit slow in places.
Oh, I mean the anime itself, like, okay, so how many chapters was it? Because I know the anime is like 21 episodes.
56, I believe.
Okay, so in terms of like 21 episodes, they covered about like 2.5-ish chapters an episode. Then
it's fairly standard.
Yeah, so I wish some anime would, but yeah, I didn't have too much problems with the arc. I personally, like, for me, it's an upward trend. Like, the Hunter Exams at the bottom, Heaven's Arena is a step up. I like Yorknew, like, more than those two. Really? I will say, no, it's just a natural progression. Like, I think the arc's themes, especially, like, what's it covering first? It's covering a lot of mafia drama, which I'm a big fan of. I like JoJo Part 5. I like it whenever anime does fun mafia stuff, and I also liked how it handled the themes of revenge, which we can get into more details later. I thought meeting the trope was very interesting, and once again, Hunter x Hunter was one of those where after watching a lot of anime, I just expected them to fight and beat the Phantom Trope the first time I watched it. All of them, I could not have been more dead wrong, and I'm very happy that the arc only ended with 2 trope deaths. Well, 2, and then Crollo losing his powers, but we'll get to that. So it just stood out to me a lot when I first watched it because it broke a lot of my expectations, and I thought it was very entertaining, and the writing was really good.
Yeah, I mean,
overall thoughts.
I think I enjoyed the arc. It was a solid arc. Yeah. I think probably to say my main issue with it was there was a lot going on all the time, right?
Yeah.
There was always at least 3 things you had to keep in your mind that's going on at the same time. And it just, I don't know, it was a bit much for me at times. Okay, I would say that, and maybe that's the presentation, maybe that's the translation again. But I'd say that was probably my main issue with it. But I mean, I enjoyed the arc. In terms of the 3 I've read so far, Heaven's Arena has been my favorite, and then Hunter Exam, and then Yorknew.
On a surface level, it's easy enough to follow where they gather, like both groups, protagonists and antagonists, gather together. The protagonists were gathering just to meet up. Antagonists, the fandom tropes, their whole goal is just steal the artifacts. It's not that complex when you explain it to someone. Like, they want to steal stuff. Gon and Killua and them want to like just get a copy of Greed Island. But then, as you said, there's a lot more groups involved where it's Gon and Killua in the Oreo, and then there's Karapika, and then there's what the Mafia wants, and then there's what Hisoka wants, and then there's what the rest of the fandom trope wants, and then there's I think like 1 or 2 more groups that I'm missing. So there's a lot of groups that want something going on all at once, and at a lot of points they do intersect. So I can understand some of the overwhelmment or confusion.
Yeah. Well, let's just go ahead and get into the chapter review proper. We start off with Gon and Killua going back to Whale Island.
Mm-hmm.
And I always, I think in a lot of shonen, we don't get the protagonist going back to the beginning too much. Thinking back to the 2 shonen I've read most recently, One Piece and Black Clover. One Piece, obviously, Luffy hasn't gone back to, what's the name of this town again?
He lives in the East Blue. I don't remember the name.
I can't remember the name of this town. He hasn't gone back there since the beginning, and I think obviously he'll go back after he becomes Pirate King.
We have seen it, but we haven't, like,
Luffy hasn't gone back. And while Asta did go back to Hage,
it wasn't
like Gon and Killua going back.
Yeah.
And I really enjoyed it, because Gon and Killua, man, so my thing is, if either Gon or Killua was the protagonist, like acting on their own, I wouldn't like them as much. But like together, dude, they are a very dynamic pair.
Let me interject and say this. That's one of the common criticisms, is that Gon is a boring protagonist.
I'm not saying he would be boring.
Well, hold on.
I'm just saying like so much of his character is tied with Killua.
I wasn't implying that you were saying that he was boring, but that is a common criticism. But I agree with what you said of, it's not necessarily Gon who's always in the focus, it's Gon and Killua. So, because no matter what, like, they're always together.
Yeah, and they help each other. They help each other. It's cool to see friends.
I said this to, I forget who I said it to. I think it was you, Arcade, but I like it a lot more in shonen when the deuteragonist is a comrade rather than a rival, because I don't like characters like from what I've seen in Naruto, I don't like Sasuke, I don't like Yuno, I don't like Bakugo. It's just the asshole-ish, dickish rival archetype isn't something I enjoy, and I'd much rather have a protagonist and deuteragonist work together and be friendly. That's, in One Piece, like, I guess you can call Zoro the deuteragonist. He was the second one there. Or any of the other...
Zoro... I don't really think One Piece has a deuteragonist. If it does, it depends on the arc.
Like, count all of the other Straw Hats as deuteragonists. Like, I'm happy, obviously it's Luffy's crew. I enjoy seeing that. But to, not to stray too far, I enjoy seeing Gon and Killua as friends working together on similar things and helping each other out. It's just fun seeing them be like stupid kids just goofing off and having fun and then getting serious when it matters. I enjoy their dynamic.
And just their dynamic works so well. It's just it's really believable that these are like 2 12-year-old kids that are like best friends.
Yeah, except for whenever they go murder mode.
Yeah, they do that every once in a while, or when Killua goes twink mode.
Yeah, well, I mean, Killua, just got to remember he's from a family of assassins, which that's a very interesting thing to bounce off with Gon, who's just this dumb, bright-eyed kid who wants to go find his dad.
Yeah. So they go back to Whale Island, and they meet with Mito. That's her name, right? Mito.
Yeah.
And which is Gon's aunt, right?
I don't know.
Technically, maybe I think technically his cousin. If we're getting very technical, I think she is his second cousin.
But either way, they go meet.
Yeah, they meet her, and Gon and Killua have a very nice moment. They're sitting on the whatever. And Kilo was like, well, don't you want to know about your mom? And Gon was like, nah. And he's like, I want to meet my dad. He's like, but I've never really wondered about my mom because he's like, I have a mom. He's like, I don't need anything more. I was like, oh, what a little cutie.
And then we get to see what Jing says, and he says that like the next step to finding him is Greed Island.
Yeah, basically, Mito talks to him, and we get a little backstory on Jing, where Jing and her are cousins, and all their parents are dead, and they were kind of raised together, and then he left to become a hunter. And so technically, Gon and Mito are second cousins.
Yeah, and they're next.
Jing left her. We don't know the mother, and left him. And Jing left him a box, and Gon opens the box, and it takes him a second to think to use Nen on it. Even though immediately I was like, oh, he should use Nen on that and open it. And then he doesn't. And then Kilo was like, hey, you should use Nen on that and open it. He's like, oh, why didn't I think of that? I was like, yeah, why didn't you? And so they open it, insert their hunter card, and in it is a cassette tape, a ring for the drip. And was it just because it wasn't Greed Island, the game card?
It was
a Save
memory
Island,
card.
right?
Yeah, it was a memory card.
Yeah, it was save whatever. It was a
Yeah,
save.
so they find out that they need to get an actual copy of Greed Island to continue Gon's quest.
Yeah, and so they talk to Killua's fat brother.
Yeah, I don't even remember his name, the fat man.
Yeah, and then they're on their way. So they're going to Yorknew. Well, they were going to Yorknew anyways to meet up with Leorio and Kurapika.
His brother finds out that it's being sold at an auction.
Yeah, and so they go there. I think at that point they learn what Greed Island is that it's a game for hunters, right?
Mm-hmm.
And we don't know who developed it. There were only 100 cartridges made.
Yeah.
And you get sucked into the game, and if you die in the game, you die in real life. It's Sword Art Online.
Yeah, it's Sword Art Online.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, and so then they head to Yorknew.
Yeah,
It's not New York. It's Yorknew.
It's totally different, guys. It's totally different.
And before they get there, I think we actually get to see Kurapika getting his job.
Yeah, where he becomes a bodyguard for the Nostrad family.
Yeah,
right?
that sounds right.
With what was her name? The girl with the blue hair or whatever. Oh,
yeah,
didn't get...
yeah, blue hair. Yeah, Neon. The chick who can ghost write.
Yeah, she
that is the name of her ability, isn't it?
Yeah, her Nen power is she can make predictions.
Yeah, kind of aced.
And then
gets stolen.
Not only that, we see the Phantom Trope gather together, and they talk about their plans to steal everything at the auction.
We get introduced to the man of the hour, Mr. Krollo Lucifer.
Yep.
Who, in my translation, was referred to as Kuroro, like Kuroro. And I was very confused until I looked up his name, and I was like, "Oh, Krollo." It's like that's kind of a cool name. And then his last name was Lucifer, and I'm like, that kind of ruins it a little bit, but it's fine. I can just call him Krollo.
For Greed Island, you need to find a different translation of this manga before Greed Island.
Yeah, I should be able to.
Yeah, because it's weird having to listen to all these Kuroro and whatever the other.
Translate some guy's name to be like Laser or something. It'd be like, dude, come on. It's whack.
Yeah, so we get introduced to a lot of the characters and their motivations, and once again, Kurapika, wants revenge against the Phantom Trope.
Yeah, and so basically he breasts on a couple people, gets the job as a bodyguard, and they head out.
Yeah.
And
I'd word it like that, but yeah.
Yeah, so then Gon and Killua get to the city, and Leorio, they meet up with Leorio first. They actually don't meet up with Kurapika for a while there. And Leorio knows Nen, or so he says. And I think we find out later he just knows 10. He doesn't know Nen proper, but
yeah,
he knows 10. He certainly does. And I mean, it's cool. It's cool. It's cool to see him. The gang's getting back together. I would say this. I mean, I know that they're going for Greed Island. But I wish we could have seen more of everything. Because like later in the arc, whenever they're just like in like the open market, just doing stuff, I really enjoyed that. I enjoyed getting to see all the different stuff.
Yeah, because it's, think of the world building aspect for a moment there. Like in the Hunter exam, that was a lot of like big world building. In Zoldyck Manor, we got some of that, but in Heaven's Arena, we got to understand how like Nen, the Fight Club works, different types of people. Like it expanded on the world, and with Yorknew, we get to see a lot more of the Mafia's inner workings and the Phantom Trope's inner workings and their origins and a lot of other character-driven things, but not really much about the city. It's just kind of a New York in a way.
Yeah,
just very cool city.
And then after that, we get to we already met the music guy. I thought he was a guy. It wasn't until later I found out he was a girl, and I was like, what?
Melody. call her Melody. I think her name.
Melody, is that her name really?
Yeah, Melody.
Oh my gosh, dude! The translator's named it. I guess it was Melody in Japanese. It started with an S. You love to see it. You love to see it.
Yeah,
They're the type of people that would translate rock paper scissors as John Ken poem, dude. I hate translations like that. Yeah, no, I like the music. I like Melody. She's cool. She has a bit of a mysterious backstory. I can't remember too much of it.
Where it's like the music that if it plays, it kills someone, right?
Yeah. It was the devil melodies or something.
Yeah, and she's like,
what you call it? So that was kind of cool. It's some mystery there. Looking forward to maybe something happening with that. I don't know.
Yeah. But the main thing that happens first is they hold the first auction and the Phantom Trope attacks, but they find out like none of the loot is there and it's just like a fake auction setup.
Yeah, and what's his name? Franklin?
Yeah, Franklin with the finger bullets, and then Shizuku with the vacuum.
Yeah. Both of those names were correct.
It's such a disturbing scene watching them like gun down everyone and then just in a matter of seconds just it being gone.
Being gone. You get it? You get it, Kyle?
Being jing.
That's so true.
But it's disturbing how well the trope works together for like theft.
They're very efficient.
It makes sense. Yeah, efficient's a good way to describe it. It's scary how efficient they are.
Yeah, it's the spider, dude. The spider works efficiently.
Yeah, and then they decide to escape in a hot air balloon. Kind of a weird method of transportation.
It's like Team Rocket, blasting off again.
Yeah, not very practical because they get taken down, or they land somewhere, right, in the desert outside the city. Yeah, if I remember correctly. Do they get shot down or they land?
No, I think they. Oh, do they get shot down? I don't know because it's after that because it's in the desert that they're confronted by the shadow beasts.
The bodyguard. I'm going to take over here. Yeah. Can I just say, watching this happen? Because all right, what happens first is they get in the desert and it's the bodyguards are going to show up. Kurapika's with them, and then we learn like, oh my god, in the anime, I don't know how it was in the manga, but one of the funniest things about Hunter x Hunter is the Shadow Beasts are the single most overhyped group I have ever seen in an anime so far. Like in anything from like anime manga, they were overhyped so much. Like the Shadow Beasts are an elite group who will take down the spiders and just how amazing they are. And they show up and they're just fucking jokes.
Yeah, that's exactly how it was.
It was hilarious because Uvagin killed the worm guy, and then it was against the rabbit dog one, the porcupine one, and then the leech guy, where they got him in a position. The leech guy
was funny.
Where Uvagin was paralyzed from his neck down, and he quite literally used only his head to survive by killing the three people in sequence of biting a dude's skull, spitting the skull at someone else through the other guy's head, and then yelling so loud that the porcupine guy just has his eardrum shatter and he dies.
Oasis Fight much?
Yeah, Uvagin was a hype beast during that. Literally a beast. And then, during that, Kurapika gets he gets a little pissed seeing the dude one of the people that murdered his whole clan. So
yeah, naturally.
He uses his chain to kidnap him, and then they go, and then the trope wants to get Uvagin back.
Well, does he kidnap him there?
Yeah, remember he uses the chain, and then while Uvagin's paralyzed, he yoinks him.
Does
Remember?
he?
Yeah.
But Kurapika and him fight later after they find out the hotel room and Uvagin
What,
goes
what happened?
to him.
What happens is they kidnap him, they bring him somewhere, and they're like, "Where's the stuff?" Like, they're interrogating Uvagin. They get a call.
Oh,
And
yeah, that's right. That's right.
they
Yeah,
lead the
that's right.
discussion a plan, and then the other Phantom Troop members show up disguised to kill everyone there and free Uvagin. And Uvagin's like, "Guys, I swear, I'm gonna kill that chain user guy. I'm gonna find him. I'm gonna murder him." So then he and I think Nobunga set off to go do that.
Yeah. I enjoyed
That's
the
what
little like soft mystery of like they don't know who the chain guy is. I think that was handled very well throughout the entire arc.
Yeah, because a lot of times it's always trying to figure out like who the bad guy is. So it's interesting that, at least from Kurapika's perspective, like as a protagonist, quote unquote, that we're following, it's the villains who are left wondering like who's the chain guy.
Yeah. Who's the
'Cause-
chainsaw man?
Yeah. Minus the saw, yeah, he's the chain man,
And the man, he's a twink,
the chain twink, if you will.
if you will,
But-
yeah.
One of the things I enjoy about it, or the thought of, is even like knowing the others' powers, because you'll see them later. I don't know if many of them got revealed this arc. It feels like Kurapika could beat most of them in a 1v1.
Yeah, no, especially with his chains, and I mean, that's by design. Those chains are insanely strong
And
because he has such a strong limitation on them.
we get introduced to a very interesting concept of like the binding vows. At least I think that's what they're called.
Yeah, basically.
Self-imposed restrictions with Nen, where you make essentially like contracts with it, where you gain more power, but there's certain restrictions. Like Kurapika's is, I can shut down people's Nen powers. I can do this. Like he can do a lot, but it's a limitation of he can only use it on anyone who's a Phantom Troop member, and if he uses it on anyone who's not a Phantom Troop member, he dies.
Well, he can use the one chain on anyone. It's only
Those
the
powers.
judgment chain he can use on
Sorry, I should have
the troop
specified.
members.
Well, there's certain powers. Yeah, there's certain Nen powers that he has that he made specifically for the spiders. And if you use them on anyone that's not a spider, he'll die.
Yeah. And so after that, Uvogin escapes after killing some guys. A lot of people died this arc. I mean, side characters, but
So many people died. Like there was a scene where 2,000 people died.
based.
And then Uvagin and Nobunga go around, and Uvagin finds Kurapika, and they decide to go 1v1 out in the desert.
Yeah, and haha,
Solid.
funny, you get to choose the place of your death, and then it cuts to him being buried.
Never forget, Kurapika brought a shovel to his fight against Uvagin. That is one of the most based things that just happens in Hunter x Hunter.
Never forget that bungee gum has the properties of gum and rubber.
It's actually rubber and gum.
Rubber and gum. No, it's gum and rubber. I would know.
Either way.
I'm a big Hunter x Hunter fan.
Well,
You know me.
you have
You
have
me.
missed too.
What happens after that?
After he buries him with the shovel, this is one of the elements I was talking about earlier. How I like how the revenge aspect comes into play, because here's the thing: a lot of times when revenge is dealt with, it's one of those show don't tells where they'll always have these arcs or some arcs where it's like a character really wants revenge. Like, no, revenge is not the answer, because if you get revenge on them, what's to stop this endless rabbit hole of wanting revenge and revenge and revenge? And instead of flat out saying that, they just show it in Hunter x Hunter, where Kurapika wants revenge on the Phantom Trope. He kills one of their members, which, without like anyone having to overtalk the fuck out of it, Nobunga gets really mad that someone killed his friend Uvagin, and he vows like he wants revenge on the chain user. So it shows just how revenge just breeds more of this hideous revenge, and it's just a back and forth cycle. I really like how they demonstrate that.
Yeah, I think it was done well throughout the entire thing, especially with Kurapika after thinking like, okay, well, I've gotten my revenge. Like how he was like, okay, so what now?
Yeah, where he wanted to kill them, basically. And he was sad, or not sad, but he was like, well, that was my whole mission in life. I wasted my Nen on this.
Yeah, and with Gon and Killua and Leorio at this time, they have pawned off Gon's. Well, first they did the arm wrestling thing.
Yeah,
And then they pawned off Gon's. Well, no, they pawned off Gon's thing later. But then they started hunting the trope for the money reward that the Dons put out.
Yeah, which that didn't work too well when they got kidnapped the first time. Oh yeah, there's more than once.
Twice, you could say.
Twice. Yeah, because the first time they get kidnapped and they're taken to that like building. I think it's like a hotel or something. And then they're sitting in the room. The trope, I forget what they lead to go do, but Nobunga's sitting there with Gon and Killua, and he's like, "I like you, Gon. You remind me of Uvagan. Join my team." And they leave, or they try to, and he's like, "You can't leave. I'm guarding the only exit." And they just fucking break down walls. And
yeah, they're like, we got to do the strategy, and he was like, "What strategy?" And then they just broke down the walls. It's like, okay, that's based.
It was a fun escape. And then what happens after that? Oh, God,
you get to learn that Kurapika. Well, we learned this during the fight, but Kurapika can use. He's materialization.
Oh
right?
yeah, Emperor time. Yeah,
he can use specialization in whenever his eyes turn red, and that means that he can use any category at 100%.
Yeah,
kind of based.
Not saying Naruto stole the idea from Hunter x Hunter, but
Naruto stole the idea from Hunter x Hunter.
One of the surviving members with red eyes that get red whenever they get mad, and some people, slaughter the whole clan. They really want revenge. Just saying, Sasuke's kind of a fraud.
He is a fraud. That's so true. We hate Naruto here.
but anyway.
After that, Gon and crew, they are at the market, and this is the part I really enjoyed, where they're just looking through the market, and then Gon just happens to spot a little thingy mabob.
With using Gyo, right?
Yeah, with using Gyo.
Because they can discern rare items by using Nen, which I thought was a neat application of Nen.
To see the aura, and I enjoyed Leorio, where it was Killua being like, "Hey, Leorio, like, get that item for us, like, right now."
Mm-hmm.
And then they find the little wooden thing, and they go to sell everything, and they almost get ripped off, and then they meet the guy. What's his name?
Should have remembered it.
I don't know. It's the you know.
Zeppeli. I remember because it sounded like the part 1 name. Zeppel.
Oh yeah, Zeppel. And yeah, no, he was cool. At first, you don't really trust him, but he's a cool guy. I enjoyed him throughout the story. I wish he maybe could have played a little bit more of a role. I wish we could have gotten more of kind of like this small town auction thing. This was probably my favorite part of the arc. Well, the ending was my favorite part, but this was a solid second place. I enjoyed this part.
So what happens next is after they assume like the trope is dead, Hisoka contacts Kurapika saying like the bodies were fake, they're not actually dead, and then I believe it's, as I was reading on the wiki to catch up on all what I remember,
corpses are fake is later. Because first you have the trope breasting on everyone, kills 2,000 people.
Oh yeah, no.
And at the same time, we learn that Killua's family are here in order of the Dons to kill the Phantom trope.
Yeah, I was going to say on the wiki that I was reading, it was described as Crollo giving Uvagin's Requiem, where he was like, I don't know, moving like an orchestrator to all the 2,000 people dying out there. And then as Brandon said, where the Dons had hired Zeno and Silva to take care of Crollo, and their fight in the anime was so cool. It lasted only like 3 minutes, but oh my gosh, was it a great fight.
And while Crollo was like undercover, I think, and when I was reading, I don't know if I missed a line or I didn't know it was him. I just thought it was another member of the trope. But he meets up with Neon, who was like I know she was written to be that way, so I'm not like this is pro good. It's good for Hunter x Hunter because like I'm taking it the way it's intended. She's a very annoying character.
Yeah, and then as you said earlier, her powers get taken at some point. And
and her powers get stolen. It's like
I also like how Crollo's powers work.
Yeah, Crollo and his stealing magic. It's a little bit good.
And one of the things that I enjoy about it is, once again, the breakdown of powers and fights, where from, I think, Zeno's perspective, we see him fighting Crollo and like just based on what Crollo's doing, he just deciphers how his powers work. It's like, okay, he has to keep his hand on it. When he closes his book, his powers disappears. We don't know what he has in there. He's using this tarp. I'm guessing I don't want to get hit by that. And then Silva comes in with a literal Dragon Ball attack.
Oh yeah, no, that was cool. I enjoyed the fight.
And the conclusion of it was great too, where Crow's like, I hired your kid, Ilumi, to go kill the 10 Dons, and now that the 10 Dons are dead, your money's gone, so you have no reason to hunt me. And Zeno's like, damn, you're right. So the fight
Cactus Jack.
Yeah, the fight just ends. I enjoyed that.
And then Crollo's like, yeah, I would have lost. Crollo's such a cool name.
Lucifer, a bit edgy. Crollo, yeah, I like Crollo.
Yeah, no, it's extremely solid. And then the trope fakes their deaths, and they pretend like the Dons are still alive. I was about to say Don because, like, in my mind, I visualized the word as D-O-N. I just immediately went to say Gone.
Yeah.
Yeah, the Dons are dead, but made to look like they're alive as to not arouse suspicion, so the trope can steal stuff. And that's whenever Kurapika sees them, is like, whoa, they're dead. What? And then he's like confused, and he wants like he doesn't know what to do with his revenge, and he goes and he buys the eyes, which we later learn is a fake.
Oh yeah, I forget the little hairy dude how he can make copies of stuff.
Yeah. And what you call it?
Then he finds out like the corpses are fake.
Yeah, when Hisoka just texts him. Hisoka and Kurapika, that is a cool alliance. That's been going on throughout this arc.
Because
man, Hisoka, every time I see him, he just gets better and better.
That's true. That's a really positive from this thing, and positive improvement from all the arcs. Where, as you said, whenever he shows up, just keeps on improving. And the thing between them is they don't have the same goal. It just so happens that they could work together and both get what they want, even though it's not the same thing. Because Kurapika wants revenge on the trope, and Hisoka is only like, as we learn later, is he just wants to fight Crollo because Crollo's the strongest.
Which, of course, their interests end up not aligning.
No, well, if you could think of it like Hisoka just wants to fight the strongest one, while Kurapika like will kill the rest. You could word it like that, but I know what you mean. Where it's not like they don't exactly line up, but they're working together now because it'd be better to get rid of the rest of the trope.
Yeah, and we also learn and hear about for the first time the city of the shooting star.
Oh yeah, Meteor City.
Oh my gosh, is it Meteor City?
It's Meteor City.
City of the shooting star. Gotta love those fan translations, dude.
Just call it Meteor City.
Meteor City. Okay, cool. I got you. It's Meteor City.
And then we learned about how the founding members all came from that city.
Yeah, and it's like the recluses. It's like the I can't remember the name. It's like the rubble outside of the one capital of thing on Luffy's home island in One Piece.
I don't remember that.
With his Ace and Sabo backstory, kind of like where they hung out.
Yeah, kind of like the scrapyard
area. It reminded me of that.
It's similar to that, but unlike the protagonists being there, the antagonists were raised up together.
And we learned that there was a dude who was like falsely arrested or something and spent however long in jail. But then like whenever he got out, like 31 people died, and it like shows their like commitment to each other.
Yeah.
It's cool. I'm looking forward to seeing what comes of that.
It doesn't justify the things that they do, but it shows how they got to that point, like how they survived they scraped by in life together and they formed a trope.
Yeah, it gives their backstory. It gives their motives basically.
Yeah, so okay, they find out the trope isn't actually dead. What happens from there again?
I believe is that when Hisoka doesn't reveal himself as a fake member of the trope. That's like, whenever I think the Crollo is doing their fortunes. And they realize that 5 of them are going to die. And Hisoka gets his fortune and uses his nin to cover it up.
Okay, so he reveals himself as a fake member way later, but he uses texture surprise to change his fortune to like trick all of them into staying in the city.
Because that's what he wants.
Yeah, they were going to leave at a certain point because like most of the fortunes are if you pursue the chain user, 5 of you will die by the end of whatever date, and Hisoka changes his to where it's like, well, let's make it conflict, and then they say,
Yeah, and it's just it's a very Hisoka's like every time Hisoka's on screen, he just gets so much better.
Hisoka's Nen is like one of my favorite powers from the show. It's just like, okay, texture surprise is cool and all. He can use it for a lot of like funny tricks, but bungee gum is just so cool.
Oh yeah. And then so you have Hisoka in the trope, and then you have Gon and Killua are captured again.
Twice.
And
then we get to
that's
like
whenever, because Kurapika and them meet back up, and Kurapika tells him everything with his Nen, and he's like, yada, 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 this is my chains, this is how I use them. And Gon's like, well, I didn't really understand that part where Gon was like, you can use it on me too. Like, make it stronger, I guess. I didn't really understand that part.
I don't know.
And
You're talking
Killua
about
and Leorio were like that too. And
I'd have to
anyways, and basically they're kind of rushing to it. And the one guy, they track them by the eyes, the fake copy of the eyes, and they kill the one last bodyguard remaining of Neon's, Kurapika's friend. And then there's a little thing, and they almost catch Kurapika, but Gon and Killua kind of step out, and they're captured again. They're taken to a hotel where Leorio is like sitting there, and they don't know, the trope doesn't know he's with them, and he gives them a sign. And then the lights go off at 7. And that is after we get Paku, who can read memories with her Nen.
Is that her name? Paku? Is that her name, Paku?
Paku Nodo?
Yeah, Paku Nodo. Okay.
Yeah.
Right, I'm just used to the full thing.
Yeah. So we have Paku, and she can read memories.
And then she reads memories, right? She reads Gon and Killua.
She reads Gon and Killua's memories, and then the lights go off. And then they like in their memories, she sees them see Crollo get taken off by Kurapika. And then she gets a note that says, if you say what was in their memories, I'll kill him. So she like can't say anything. And then it's the end of the whole hostage thing. I really enjoyed this whole end segment with Paku and everything and all the trope members. Is it Machi is the chick's name from the trope?
Yeah, Machi.
Yeah, she's hot. I really enjoyed everyone's it was cool, like mystery almost, even though we knew the mystery, but it was cool to be on the outside of the mystery.
It was an interesting hostage exchange, and that's one of my favorite moments from this arc where Gon and Killua they try to escape and we catch it, then they're like, wait a minute, where the hell's Crollo? And they're like, oh, the realization it hits them, and then the moment with Finks answering the phone being like, hey, we're not gonna give you what you want. He's like, all right, I'm just gonna execute him. Bye. And he calls back and it's like, sorry, I bluffed.
Yeah, and it was cool to see the trope split too.
Yeah, how they were divided on what they wanted to do, where Paku Noda, she had to keep her mouth shut because she cares about Crollo. And then
it was cool to see the half and half split. But then and then Kurapika himself was in twink mode. He went Killua. He did Killua's secret technique.
And then what did he do?
He went twink mode. He dressed up as a woman to capture him.
Oh yeah. And he takes him in, and then they had the talk. And Crollo. One thing I like with Crollo, how Crollo is just not afraid. He's like, I don't care. You can kill me. That's I was supposed to have trained my people to know you can live without me, but they grown too attached.
Yeah, and it was funny to just see Crollo just in all his fancy garb, just in a car.
Yeah, being driven by Leorio and just being like, look, you can kill me. I don't care. The spider will continue. The spider can survive without its head. It'll just grow a new one.
And then the demands are made for the hostage thing, and they go and they meet with Paku, and then that's whenever Kurapika uses his chain on her and on Crollo, to where Crollo can't use his Nin, and he can't contact or talk to any member of the trope.
And then for Paku Noda, it's if you need to do what I say, and if you reveal to anyone any certain information that you've learned here, you die.
Yeah.
If you reveal my identity or anyone their identities, if you tell them where they are, you're gonna die. That's my restriction for you. And then did you watch the anime scene? You need to go find it. Or at least you can edit in Hisoka's face a transition during it, because afterward, Krollo leaves the plane and Hisoka's like, "All right, I'm ready to fight you." And he's like, "Oh, yeah, that's fine and all, but I don't have any nen. I can't fight." And then Hisoka just crumbles. And he's like, "Well, all right, bye."
He's just like, okay, cool. Yeah, I thought that was just like, that was funny. Because Hisoka, he doesn't get what he wants for once. Like, and yeah, I love Hisoka. He honestly, I'm just now real. Hisoka is probably my favorite character of the show.
Oh, he's great. Whenever he shows up, he literally steals the show.
He is very cool.
Yeah.
He's also gay, probably.
He gets turned on by powerful men. What can I say?
What can I say? It's so true.
And then after that, we get a pretty good moment of Pakunoda. She uses her ability with, like, it's a memory bullet where she shoots her memories into the original 6 founding members of the trope, triggering Judgment Chain. So she dies because she passed on information, but she's able to get it passed on to them, so they fully understand everything.
Yeah, and they understand that Krollo he's going. Well, do they know he's going somewhere? He is. He was looking east, so I assume he's going east.
Yeah, they figured it out.
But they understand that he's like his situation.
Yeah, they know. And then what's the last thing you read?
It was him looking east, and he was like, "I'm going east."
Okay, so that's the last thing that you saw.
Yes.
Okay, cool.
I think were the boys heading back to the auction, or what were they doing?
Yeah, they still got to get Greed Island, dude.
They do still got to get Greed Island, which is the next arc, correct?
Yeah. And
I gotta what you call it, dude? Is any last thoughts on Yorknew City, Kyle?
Overall, I thought it was a solidly written arc, and I enjoyed it more than the previous 2. But again, I think every Hunter x Hunter arc has been good so far.
Oh yeah, no, I'll definitely agree with that. I think I still rank it last of the 3. And that's not. I just enjoyed Hunter Exam and Heaven's Arena more.
That's fair. Like, that's completely fair.
But yeah, no, it was solid. Next time is Greed Island.
Yeah, I would say I probably enjoyed them more too, but I would say that Yorknew is just an objectively not like trying to be like that, but it's better, while I like the other ones better, if that makes sense.
I can definitely appreciate what it's trying to do, and I think it does it well. It's just in terms of my personal enjoyment. Like is it more ambitious and better written than the other 2? I would say yes. It's just personally I enjoy the other 2 more.
Yeah.
I'm a relatively simple man. I see 2 12-year-olds beating up a Klessy guy. I'm for that. I'm all for that. And they were friends this time, so they couldn't beat him up.
Yeah.
But yeah.
And next time we will reach Greed Island.
I cannot wait. I am super looking forward to reading this next arc. I have heard some very good things about it.
Yeah, I'm very happy that you did. So, see everyone next time at Greed Island.
Oh, bye-bye.
Bye.